Hey guys, Mr. Catlin here. We're looking at your homework problems for this week. This is our first homework video, and you can see I'm going to work out the problems here. Got a little video of me down here. Not that you need to see me, but I think that's fun. So let's jump right in. Homework 1.1, the first page. You're looking at these 5 different figures, and it says we have a figure that looks like letter A. All right, along with several other figures. Which figures are scaled copies of the original A? And then we got to explain how we know for each one. Okay, so what we know about scaled copies, all right, and you need to know this for our quiz, is that the figures look like the same shape, but they might change size. They might change size. All right, that's what a scale copy is. So we're looking for figures that look the same as this A, but may or may not be the same size as it. So automatically, I'm going to go through here and cut out some just because of the different shape. This A is a different shape. It even has different angles for the legs that come out. So I know that that's not a scaled copy. This one right here, a figure 1, I'm going to automatically pull that one out because it looks taller than it is wide. If you actually break this A off into a box and think of it as a 2 by 2, it's very square-like in its shape. It's the same width as it is in height. This one is still 2 wide, but they've raised it up to be 4 tall. So that tells me that it's not proportionally the same. It's not a scale copy. So we can mark that one out. Now these other ones, these figure 2 and figure 4, we could actually box them in and see that they're still very boxy in shape. This one just fits in a little square for by itself. So with this one being 4 by 4, this one being 2 by 2, and this one being 1 by 1, and they all look very similar, I feel like figure 2, so we're going to write that figure 2 and figure 4, I feel like those are scaled copies of the original. And then we could say something like in our explanation about how they're the same shape. Figure 2 is just larger, twice as big. And figure 4, since it went from 2 to 1, is half as large. So you could say something like that, or you could say, well, they look like the same shape, but they've just changed sizes. Okay, so I'm not going to write that down actually there. I'll let you handle that and put that in your own words. But just know that I do need an explanation. You can't just come through here and copy down what I have in the videos. It's not going to cut it. All right, so let's look at problem number 2. Tyler says that figure B over here is a scaled copy of figure A because all of the peaks are half as tall. And that's true. All of the peaks are half as tall. It went from 4 centimeters tall here to 2 centimeters tall here. But that's not what a scale copy is about. A scale copy is about all sides, okay? And this will be part of your reasoning probably. You probably want to mention something about all sides must change together. You can't just pick and choose which sides that you shrink. They shrunk the lengths of the vertical lines. But if you look at it really close, this length right here that I'm highlighting in red, it never changed. Like it's the same width over here as it is over here. So you can't change the height of a figure and not change its width and expect it to be a scale copy. So when your answer here, you're not going to agree with Tyler because he's not correct. These are not scale copies. And you're going to say something about all of the sides must change together. All right, we don't agree with him for that reason. All right, so there's the first 2 problems. Let's jump on to the next set of problems, which is on the back of the page. Okay, so problem number 3. We got a picture of the Rose Bowl. This is in Pasadena, California. Usually the Big Ten and the Pac-12 play their Rose Bowl game there. Those are usually the 2 conferences that meet. If they're not in the college football playoffs, then usually the 2 best teams from those conferences play here. And we've got some copies of the picture. Now, it wants us to select all the ones that are scaled. So remember, we're looking for same shape, but no distortion. We're not looking for any stretching. We want the same football field, okay? So the way that I focus on this is I look at the actual rectangle that is the football field. I look right here. And if my football field still looks like that and hasn't become more square shape and it hasn't become more elongated like these two, That one's been squished horizontally. That one's been kind of stretched horizontally, squished vertically. Then I'm going to say that A and D are the same photo scale-wise. They've just been, in this case, it's just been enlarged a little bit to make a bigger rectangle, but same shape generally. And this one's been shrunken a little bit to make the smaller one. So I would go with A and D on those two choices. Let's go on to number 4. This is a big concept that's going to continue to come up in all the rest of the things that we do. Problem number 4, it wants you to complete the equation with a number that makes it true. Okay, so the first one's super easy. 5 times 3 is 15. The second one is super easy. 4 times 8 is 32. But we talked about this. As we get to these ones down at the bottom, it does become a little bit tougher because there's not a whole number times fact that you can put there. But if you look at the problems up here, you'll notice that the answer, when divided by the first number, gives you the blank that you're looking for. 15 divided by 5 gives us 3. And likewise here with 32, the answer divided by 4 gives us the fill in the blank of 8. So you can continue this pattern to answer all of these questions. So for this particular one right here, we could say 9 when divided by 6 will be our answer. Now, instead of actually dividing 9 by 6 in a calculator, you can just take that fraction and reduce it with a common factor. You know, they both have a common factor of 3, and so you can reduce it to 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. So you have an answer of 3 halves, or those of you fraction lovers out there, 1.5 is correct. But I do want some shown work on this last one. I'm not going to work it out for you. I want you to do the same thing that I just did. Set that number over the first and then reduce it if you can. You can also put a fractional number there or a decimal number there. I'll be fine with that. All right, this concludes our first video for this. And what I want you guys to do is, continue to go to YouTube if you need help. Skip through, check your answers, whatever you need to do to make sure you're on the right track. Okay, so this is the end of our first lesson for your help videos.